Hey guys, this is Fang-VA here, coming at you with a new Sonic Tuesday video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a character that is a little bit polarizing in the Sonic community. Some might say this character is from a game that quite literally made a lot of the Sonic fandom literally get tired of Sega's crap. So, if you're new here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell button. So, let's get started here. Now, obviously, I think you all know the character I'm referring to. A certain Infinite from a certain game called Sonic Forces. The thing about Infinite is that, before I get to the nitty-gritty here, is that Infinite, when you play the base game, he's a pretty cool freaking character. What ruins him is when you play the Episode Shadow DLC to where you learn why he becomes the way he does, and it turns out he's just a freaking crybaby. Why? Because Shadow called him pathetic. The fact that that's what led Infinite into becoming who he is, I'm sorry, but that's really bad character writing. You know, people can say what they want about Princess, Elise from Sonic 06. Even she had better writing than Infinite, and that's saying something. Although, granted, I'm not a hater when it comes to Princess Elise. Some people think that she's worthless. It's like, quick vent out of the side here. It's like, here's the thing. She's a princess. Is she really going to be fighting all that much? No. Her, depending on what Elise has, her security or knights or whatever takes care of that for her. Just like with Princess Peach. Yes, Princess Peach can fight. But anyways, that's a separate event. I might get into that one next week. It's not only that, but it's something that writing for the Sonic games was starting to become kinda notoriously for the wrong reasons. I'm pretty sure that everyone that's watched my videos knows that I've gone into the history when it comes to that sort of thing, is that from Sonic Free Riders up to Sonic Forces, the Sonic games were not written with respect. You had writers that did not understand the characters, and that is why Shadow's character changed. Now granted, in Sonic Frontiers, they're back to how people prefer them. Now, the thing with Sonic Forces is that they did actually fix Knuckles in that game. Knuckles wasn't an idiot. He was smart, he was serious, he was the Knuckles that, let's be honest, we all prefer. I've never quite understood why, when it came to the mainline Sonic games, they made them all seem so different from how we know them, but yet they also had Sonic Boom at the same time, so I don't know why they couldn't done like a serious, story with Sonic, while all the, I hate to say it, all the modern humor type stuff is in Boom. But, I'm not Sega. I'm not Sonic Team, so I'm not going to understand these reasonings. But, in my opinion, how Infinite should have been handled is actually what his theme song actually says is that in the song, um, you know, it shows this other different perspective of his character. That should have been his freaking, you know, that honestly should have been his actual story. And I want to apologize if you guys heard any wind. That was my fan. So, my apologies. Um, I should have been more, prepared for this. But I've been dealing with stuff. Um, see here. Where is it? You know, I'm the tallest of mountains. I am the roughest of ways. I am the toughest of terrors. I am the darkness of days. I'm the last one standing. Don't try to stand in my way because I've been up against better. Just take a look at my face. That right there even kind of implies that, okay, well, did Infinite go through some tough fight that made him needing to wear that mask? You know, if you go through the whole song, like, it shows this other story that they could have gone with him, like this tragic villain sort of thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm seeing here like, they could have done a freaking Anakin type of thing. Now, couldn't they? Have Anakin, maybe have Infinite be a bit torn on what to do. I mean, I know that he's a mercenary. I know that. But it's like maybe, I don't know, maybe he was conflicted on that with that job or something. And then when whatever that made him be put inside that mask, that's what made him just go, crazy. And we see the Infinite that we saw in the game. The thing is that Infinite was a little bit of a compelling villain in the base game. But as I said, if you play Absol Shadow, he's a joke. He's basically a meme. That's what he is. And that's the thing about Silent Hill 6. If you see how Mephiles is handled, he's handled pretty nicely. Now again, there's always going to be those people that's going to be like, well, actually, there is nothing good about Sonic 06 story. It's like, okay, sit down and shut up. That's the one thing I'll never understand with people in fandoms is that they will literally, instead of looking at things through a different lens after many years of a certain product comes out, and let's be honest, when it comes to a lot of fandoms, a lot of those people that say that they hate something, you also have to keep in mind how many of those people actually do dislike something versus the people that are just saying it to quote unquote fit in. But I digress. Mephiles was an actual threat. Mephiles actually almost succeeded in his plan. Actually, he did. The problem was, well, there was that whole controversial scene with Elise and Sonic. Sonic revives and he's supersonic. And you all know the rest from there. The thing with Infinite is that I feel like the criticisms of Infinite applies to also how people view DBZ Broly. Because, a lot of people generally do not understand the whole story of DBZ Broly, despite the fact that during the first movie they do show why he hates Kakarot. Dare I say, Infinite is quite literally the stereotype Dragon Ball fans give DBZ Broly. Oh, well, DBZ Broly, only hates Goku because he cries. No. Broly hates Goku because it triggers the memory of what happened to him. And anyone that has seen the first Broly movie should know that. But again, who am I to judge? Infinite, in my opinion, should have been handled like this. You can have him hate Shadow. Maybe Gun had Team Dark do something that generally pissed Infinite off. And because of that, that's what made him want revenge against Shadow. Instead of this whole, oh, well, I hate Shadow because he called me pathetic. Or maybe because, Sonic is the main character, what if he also hates Sonic because maybe something happened to where maybe could have been his family, could have been someone that he was super close to, and maybe they try to get Sonic and Sonic just didn't show up in time to help them out. There's so many ways that they could have done his character. There's actually one other idea, is that, well, instead of Infinite, why not bring back Mephiles? That's a character that would hold a grudge against people that took him out. Funnily enough, in the script for Sonic Forces, Infinite was actually supposed to actually be able to make copies of Mephiles. And maybe Infinite could have been one of Mephiles', soldiers or second in command. You could still have Infinite be there and give him a reason why he doesn't like Shadow is because of what happened to Mephiles. But the thing is that, well, obviously, Sonic and Shadow and everyone else, they don't remember 06 because of the whole time reset. Infinite has the Phantom Ruby. And yet, he gets it because he wants revenge against Shadow for calling him pathetic. Now, that little plot MacGuffin is very easy to fix. What if, Eggman agrees to help Infinite if he helps take over the world, while retroactively Infinite can take out Shadow and Sonic. Now, some people may say, well, isn't that what happened in the main game? No. Because Infinite, yes, he messed with Shadow, but he never actually attacked him. No. The Infinite I'm trying to explain in my version of Forces is someone that is like pure evil and would actually, maybe he does something to Rouge and Omega with the Phantom Ruby. Maybe he puts them into some sort of alternate reality. And maybe it's a trap for Shadow, and maybe Shadow gets trapped there as well. And because of that, their resistance, they realize that their strong players is gone, because let's be honest, Shadow is a very valuable asset when it came to Forces. I mean, he is debatably the strongest Sonic character. Now, keep in mind, I haven't played the third update for Frontiers yet. I've been dealing with some stuff IRL, and I might explain that in a video coming up, because I'm sure that to a lot of you, I don't sound as chipper as I normally do. So, Infinite decides to, well, that's done. Time to help the Doctor with Sonic. And maybe what happens is, maybe Infinite goes a bit too far. And maybe that's why Tails, you know, is so different in Forces with how he's written, of him being a coward. Maybe Infinite did something that literally freaked Tails out. Like, completely. Because at the end of the day, Tails is smart, Tails is brave, but at the end of the day, Tails is also still a kid. You know, Tails could... I mean, Tails probably does have fears. Everyone does. And maybe Infinite does something to exploit that fear. Now, of course, one of the other problems with that game is how Sonic was written. He's not taking things seriously. Well, in this game, he does take things seriously. And maybe what happens is, much like maybe Infinite is leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for Sonic, messing with people that he cares about. And maybe the thing that finally makes Sonic decides that enough is enough is when he sees Tails shaking in fear. Here's the thing, I'm not a fan of how they wrote Tails in Sonic Forces, but at least this would make sense. You know, maybe Sonic has to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds in order to defeat Infinite, and we get Super Sonic versus Infinite. Or maybe, you know what? Why not just, why not go one step further? Why not, after collecting the 7 Chaos Emeralds, maybe Sonic gets beaten by Infinite, and then Sonic has to take the 7 Chaos Emeralds to Angel Island. If they become the Super Emeralds, Sonic turns hyper, and that's how he wins against Infinite. And I hope I made sense in this video. Like I said, my mind is a jumbled mess. I'm trying to make coherent thoughts, and I can just hear people right now like, take a break, and it's like, I've taken enough of a break, you guys. I'm not going to do that, especially since it's the busy season. But I think what I'll do is I will do a more proper explanation next week on how I would handle Infinite. Because it shouldn't be too hard, because I mean, I've done my own version of Rey from Star Wars. I mean, I've done my own, like, any sort of character that isn't written good. I mean, both me and Mizu can fix them instantly, in our own AUs. Like for the sequel trilogy, in my opinion, instead of focusing on Rey, focus on Kylo. But with Rey, have her be on the dark side. Have Kylo start out on the dark side, but maybe by the end of episode 7, he turns to the light side. I mean, that's just one of many ideas when it comes to Rey. Plus, with that idea, it kind of pushes Rey kind of as a antagonist role. Because as much as this may anger the sequel trilogy fans, I do not accept Rey as a Skywalker, and I never will. She will always be a Palpatine. And I know that will probably anger a lot of people, but I don't care. That's my opinion. But with Infinite, Infinite is a character that they could have done amazing things with, and they just butchered him. Like, they really messed him up. And that is why after Sonic Forces, they took a long time away from making Sonic games. Well, not time away, but they took time to make the next one good. And obviously what didn't help was, COVID and all that. And Sonic Frontiers is a step in the right direction. So if they do bring Infinite back, I guess we'll see probably a different side of him, but it won't change the fact that his character is just mid. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below in the comments, and I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Later, guys.